Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 108 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekend edition and I need to service my R322T, and if you want to see how that's going to all get done, all you have to do is stay tuned. Well, I had the tractor out this morning, blew the snow off the driveway. It was kind of overdue. You can see it's melting off in my shop here. And while it was warm, it's also time to service this thing. And I basically dropped the oil while it was still warm. So just want to show you what I did. Okay, changing oil on this thing used to be a real pain because see if I can point to it without getting totally soaked here. Okay, right back in there was a drain plug, and of course then it would run down here, and it was my whole shop floor was full of oil after changing oil in this thing. So last year I made an extension. I just had some black pipe and galvanized pieces that I made, and I made a drain plug, but it clears the frame. Now I can use my Princess Auto tub here, and there's no oil on the floor. So this has worked really well. And when I continue, we're going to do a bunch of work today. I have to change a belt yet to the snowblower. It was starting to shred when I was blowing today, and I'm going to show you some of that stuff. Well, I'm at the right side of the tractor when you're sitting on it. Going to remove the oil filter today. This has been the strangest oil change I've ever done. It's Friday today, so Monday I quickly blew the driveway off because it needed it. And I thought, while the motor's warm or hot, I dropped the oil. So I did that right away. And then I had things come up during the week. I just didn't get back to it. So here it's Friday, and I'm going to finish my oil change. So not the great Canadian oil change here that changes your oil in 10 minutes. This is more like 5 days. So anyway, I don't have any tools with me, and I'm just going to see if I can get this off by hand. Oh! And I can. Oh shoot, and I forgot the rag. Oh yeah, and they're going to get oil in my hand. Lovely. Okay, well, this is what happens when you're better prepared for filming than you are to do the task. Okay, well, I'm going to have a mess on my floor again. Okay, so I think I need to get something, and I see it right over there. And we're back. Okay, a little bit of paper towel for the mess on the floor, and the shop rag. It's got this, the steel that the motor mounts on comes out on each side of the engine, and it's a real pain when you're changing oil. And I showed you the drain modification I made on the other side. That's worked really well. But this is the way it is. I can't change this. So anyway, always make sure that your flange is nice and clean. And another thing that's really important to do is write the date on your filter with a paint marker. I've been doing that for vehicles. When I retired from teaching, I decided that, okay, there were things that I had let go over the years because of a lack of time or whatever, and one of those was changing oil in my vehicles. So for the last couple of years since well, actually about the last year and a half since I've been retired, I do my own oil changes in my vehicles. So, and I write the date and the mileage on the filters all the time. Now this is a Briggs & Stratton filter. I'm not sure who makes it, but my neighbor James across the street runs MEK equipment. He's a Husqvarna dealer, among other things, and he's always been really, really good with getting me parts and things like that when I need it. So if you're in the area and you need something Husqvarna, go talk to James. Okay. There we go, that's that. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break here. So the filter went in, it's hand tight, everything's clean, gasket's nice and clean. I've got a fuel filter here that I'll probably change as well, and a spark plug here and a spark plug there, and an air filter, and a belt that we need to change. So I probably won't get it all tonight because it's late in the evening already, but I would like to get the oil in tonight yet, because I felt kind of silly having this tractor sit here. In fact, I even took the keys out and put them someplace else so that I wouldn't accidentally get on it to move it and start it and run it without oil. So not a very good way to do things, like to have an oil change that takes a week. But in this case, that's what worked for me. So that's what we did. Okay, I am going to move over to the other side, and we'll continue from there. And it's time to add the oil. So we add it through the dipstick hole here. What I like to do, this tractor basically gets serviced once a year. Every January I service it. We really don't put on that many hours on this thing. From maybe June, say the end of May, to the end of September. How many weeks is that? It'll probably have 15 hours on it, because it takes me about an hour to do things once a week. So, and in winter, it depends. Sometimes I've blown snow 2 or 3 times, sometimes 5 or 6 times. But we are using this Opti 4 oil. This is what was strongly implied when I bought the tractor. We bought this new, that I needed to use this to have my warranty remain good and all that stuff. So I just kept using it. It's not the cheapest oil, but I've heard good things about it, so we'll keep using it. The other thing that I like to do is I like to write down how many ounces, whatever, how much oil goes in, because changing once a year, even when I was younger and had a real memory, I don't remember. So this Opti 4, I use a 530, comes in packs of 3 like this, and I'm just going to use my trusty scissor there to get in. And yes, I did put the drain plug in. I did that off camera. That little extension I made for the drain of the oil really, really helps. It's the best thing I did to this tractor. I waited too long to do it. Oh, it's open. There's no little foil on there or anything. Okay, so according to what I have written on this thing, it takes 3.5 of these to fill this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 in. Okay, and what I should really do is check. I know the plug is in, just to make sure there's no leaks. I'd have to take that out. That'd be embarrassing. Okay, so that's 1 down the gullet. And I like to put the lids back on because then I don't get oil all over the place. Oh, the label's coming off that one. So yeah, I think this oil is fine. As far as high quality oils go, I use high quality 4-stroke oils in my KTM 450 EXC, my dual sport bike, and I'm sure that oil would be every bit as good as this in here. So yeah, we're gonna add 3. Dusty. I tend to buy things. I always have, for every vehicle I own, an oil change in the shop or in the garage. When I put it all in, I changed oil in the vehicles last week. I went and bought oil when we were in the city. Because I like to have that here. I don't like to, oh, it's time to change oil. Oh, I have no oil. I need to go get some. I don't like that. So I always have it here. Okay, so we're just going to put that on there like that. Hopefully that'll stay. And then we're going to check it. Okay, the filter isn't full yet. I should really run it a little bit. And, well, let's just go ahead and do that. We'll run this guy a little bit and fill the filter up. Oh, got to get the key. And I bet you this has to be down, otherwise it won't start. Okay. That should do it. I don't want to run it too long in here too, then my carbon monoxide sensor in here starts to go crazy. So clean the dipstick off, check it again. Yep. It's down pretty much to about add again. So I had a partial from last year and it's right there. So it is exactly half. So if I take and dump this in, that's exactly my 3.5 liters. These are liters, right? No, 600 milliliters, 20 ounces. Boy, that was a fast conversion, eh? Okay, no, it was set it on the bottle. Otherwise, we'd still be ciphering. Okay, let's wrap this up. It's taken long enough. And it's just a scooch above add, but that's going to be okay. So, I'm tired. It's late in the day. I think I'm going to call it a day today, and tomorrow I'm going to come out here, and we've got a fuel filter to change, spark plugs to change, unless I'm just going to check them, I'm sure. With, like I said, they'll have 20 hours on them tops. They're probably fine. So I may just leave them and keep these for next year. But and then there's an air filter, which is easy to change. The outer wrap needs to be blown out, and then we'll change a belt, which is a pain. So, okay, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Well, it's the next morning. I'm back at it again. Not early morning, but we're going to get the fuel filter changed, and I'm going to check spark plug. I replaced these a year ago. And like I said before, there are not very many hours on this, so I think the plugs are probably going to be good, but I'm going to pull them out and inspect. And I do have new ones if I need them. So sure, miss having my camera person, but this is the way it is. So, okay, I also like to write the date on the filter I'm installing. So this is very simple. Just pull one line off. I'm just going to hold them up so I don't spill too much fuel. Okay, this should come off. Come on. There we go. Okay, that's going to rest up there. That we're just going to set there. And the direction is important. The arrow, I just reinforced it with red paint marker. And it goes in exactly like the other one. So I'm going to put the date up. That goes in. That goes in. And that goes on. And that goes on. There we go. That's done. Okay. Well, let's quickly, while we're here, let's quickly take a look at the spark plug. Just see what it looks like. Well, come on. Sometimes it's just hard to get a grip. And maybe the key is just to take the socket off. There we go. Okay. How is that going to do it? I must have had a Champion plug in there last time. These are Oregon plugs, and the number is a little different. These are number 77-303-1. Yeah, and these I'm getting from MEK here in town. So let's. Man, I don't know. I think they're going to be fine. It looks like they're burning good. The gap looks good. I think this one's just going to go back in. It starts good. Everything's... And like I stated a few times already, there are not that many hours on this motor in a year. Well, come on. Everything just seems to take longer when I'm doing it for video. Maybe it's just that I notice it. You think, okay, come on, it should be going good, it should be perfect, come on. And yet it never works that way in real life anyway, so. I think it's important to do maintenance on these things. This was not a cheap tractor. Well, calling it a tractor is a stretch too, but implement. And it's now, we bought it in 2013, so you do the math. But yeah, it's held out really well. So okay, so that's the fuel filter changed and the spark plugs checked. We're not going to change those today. I think I'm going to set up again a little differently, and we're going to come back and do the air filter and check the battery posts and things like that. and then we're going to change a belt. Okay, so we'll keep moving on. Okay, well, next on the agenda is the air filter. Basically, this cover just comes off. It's got two kind of fasteners there that you just loosen and you take it off, and the filter just kind of pops out like that. Okay, there's the intake, and this filter has this really, really nice foam, kind of a pre-filter on it. And this filter is perfect. So we're just going to set that in there. And my small blower broke when I dropped this hose end on the floor, so we're using the big guy now. There we go. See if you can see this. Just gonna So I just blew it out a little bit. Gonna wait for the compressor to stop. Okay, well, the air filter, or sorry, the air compressor's off, and we're getting back to the filter here. It's nice and clean. I'm not going to change it. I've just been cleaning it for actually the last couple of years. What I could do, basically an old dirt bike trick, is I could put a little bit of air filter oil from my motorcycles in this pre-filter, and that would probably help it do even better. But you know, I've run this dry the whole time and it works good. I just blow it out with the air compressor and this thing's immaculate, and the filter area is nice and clean. I'm just going to wipe that out just a little bit, and that should be good. And this, it doesn't matter as far as the filter goes, it doesn't matter which way it goes in, and all you do is push it forward till it drops in, and then the cover goes back on. So maintenance wise, this thing is fairly well thought out. This is a 22 horse Briggs & Stratton engine. There we go, that's that. Okay, the battery. I loosened it already and the terminals are clean. We're just going to blow the dust off of it and that's done. So I ended up changing this battery, about well, probably about 3 years ago. And I just put I think I bought the battery at Canadian Tire. Oh, this doesn't seem to want to go in. Okay, well, there's no point in you guys having to watch me fiddle around with this. So the next thing that I have to do, and the most challenging, is to change the belt to the snowblower. When I was blowing last day, there were chunks of belt coming off, and sometimes belts wear out very quickly. I don't buy high quality belts. They're cheapies from Princess Auto, and I just change them when they wear out because they usually wear out. You know, I put good belts on. Doesn't make any difference really. So I'm going to do that next, and but I can't resist just wiping things off a little bit. You know, it's just, if it's nice and clean, I just like things a little better when they're clean. So anyway, that we're going to go underneath for the next step and the last step. Well, you've heard me say many times how I really, really like this tractor. But there is one thing that I really hate. And the way they've engineered the drive belt for the mower and the blower is ridiculous. And I've already changed the belt because I didn't think you needed to see everything that went into it and all the frustration that I expressed there. That's a good way of saying it. It's just not thought through well. And I'm going to take you through it yet, but first of all, the belt. Okay, there's not much left of this belt. I don't know how much you can see, but this belt is done. And I'm beginning to wonder, in fact, I strongly suspect that why this belt wore out for me so quickly is I maybe didn't get the belt routed exactly correctly through this all. I usually go back and eye it to make sure it's right, but I'm not sure. This was basically blowing my yard once. And I usually get a season out of a belt, or close to it anyway. So anyway, this is trash. I have found that whether I buy an expensive belt or a cheap belt, it doesn't really matter much. So what I've been doing is I've been buying, now Princess Auto doesn't carry this particular brand of belt right now. What happens in their inventory is they'll discontinue one line and go to another line, and sometimes they put their own wrapping on it, sometimes they don't. I always have two backup belts at home, so this one, the belt size, if you're interested, it's just a 4L820K or A80K. It's basically a 1/2 inch by 82 inches long. And that is the belt that I use. I'm not sure if that's exactly the spec, but this works, and it's cheap. So that's one thing, that if you have something like this and you're going through belts, unless you find a really good one that lasts a long time, and if you do, please drop a note in the comments for me. I'd appreciate that. But my philosophy has been, I'm going to burn it out anyway. It's a lot better if I burn out, I don't know what these things, I bet you these things aren't even 20 bucks. It's better if I burn out a $15 belt than a $50 belt. So that's my philosophy. I'm going to show you the process of changing this, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to take the camera off the tripod and just go through some things with you. Okay? We're going to do that right away. All right, we're mobile. Okay, the belt runs from that pulley there under the tractor, and I'm going to go around to the other side to get under here because it's a little easier. And I'm going to put a little bit of light. There we go. See that pulley there, the blue belt? That's the one I just put on. So this is a bit of a gong show as well. There is a nut here where my flashlight is that you have to loosen to drop this belt keeper, which has two tangs. There's one 180 degrees from it, and that's a little awkward because you can see I can barely stand my flashlight up under here. You got like 6-7 inches of clearance and you can't get under the thing. And I haven't taken it upon myself to make a lift or something to do that yet. Maybe that's something I just need to do. Okay, to show you, hopefully you can see the belt. The other side is more telling. There's a pulley there that if you don't watch carefully, you may miss. I'm wondering if I didn't do that last time. But anyway, there's a belt. It runs to the front. So this is the connection you need to make back here. I'm not particularly happy with this, but this isn't bad. Okay, let's go around to the front. And I always write things on my machines so that I don't have to, oh, what belt size was that again? Sorry about the awkward camera movements here, but now we get to I would consider this a joke. Okay, so first of all, this piece needs to go back on. See if I can show you that. Under here. So first of all, this bracket here is really in the way. Something could be done to design that differently. Then, and I've made some changes here already. Okay, see these spacers here? Well, they're loose on the bolt. So you've got to get that all underneath there, all lined up, all tipped over, and then tightened. But you can't use a socket on it. Now, I've been using my latest wrench acquisition, these with the socket or the ratchet end on one end, and that seems to work. But when you're taking it off, if you go too high, you can't pull it out because of this ridge here. So maybe one day when I take it off in spring, we'll fire the plasma cutter up and make some clearance. I don't know. This is just terrible. Talk about belt debris. All that belt debris was kind of cleaned out of here. It was terrible. So anyway, you got to get this thing in, which is a pain. And the belt tightening's pretty good. You just pull that tight and it's a spring-loaded tensioner that works pretty good. But I find this part terribly frustrating. So I'm just going to try to get it started. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue and do the whole thing on video because, again, you don't want to see me that frustrated. I just think this could be done better. And, you know, when you have skid steer buckets that's all quick connect now and all that stuff, surely, oops, you're getting a good view of the back of my hand. But anyway, I think that's enough. And then once that's all said and done, then this cover covers all this stuff up. And that's pretty easy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish this up and I'm just going to set you aside for a bit and then we'll come back to it when it's done. All right, I'm slowly getting things buttoned up here. Just going to show you the part that I kind of whine about. That's actually a good view of it. See how obstructed it is if you look straight on? And there's about 4 fingers worth of room in there, maybe not quite. And it's just hard to get out. Now, these wrenches that I've acquired are wonderful for this job. They do make it easier. But I think in the era where you have skid steer attachments that just automatically click on, you just drive up to them and raise the bucket into the mechanism and away you go. I think this could be done better. And like I say, it's quite a few years old already, and maybe I need to come up with something to make this easier. But I'm just going to put this cover on here again and button all this up. Hopefully I can kind of do it this one-handed. This part isn't bad. Did I put this on the right way? Oh, please tell me I put this on the right way. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, yeah. So, and these are just 3/8 by 1/2 inch or so. See if I can get you around to the other side so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, this part's not too bad. Okay, this one I need a wrench right away. So anyway, that buttons this all up. The belt is changed. I think the one thing I am going to do yet is spray this homemade mechanism that I made. I shot a video about how I did this, and since I couldn't get parts, this has actually worked fairly well. But I'm going to put some lubrication on it so it's a bit easier. But okay, I think one thing I also need to do, I need to change one of my light bulbs. I think one of them's not working. But anyway, that's kind of it for the way the tractor is. It's all serviced now, ready for more snow. And I'm just going to get the camera back on the tripod, and we're going to close this video out. Well, there you have it. It's all done. Checked everything over. I lubricated this guy here. So hopefully that's going to go a lot easier when we're out there. Sure like these wrenches. The only problem I had, and I think I pointed it out, was it either earlier in this video or some other video I did, that, my motorcycle fork tube seal change. In the metric set, they're missing the 17, which is one of the highly used metric wrenches, at least in Canada. So anyway, that brings us to an end. When you do your own work, like I think I put the previous belt on incorrectly. I didn't have the routing right. It's difficult to see under there. Yeah, there's a million excuses, but in the bottom line, I screwed up. And it cost me $20 or so, $15, $20 for a belt sooner than it should have. But you know what? It's still, even if when you do your own work, you mess something up, hopefully it's minor, you still are ahead, because chances are the whole job would have cost you way more. And secondly, you know what's going on with your equipment, whether it's your car, or your truck, or your motorcycle, snowmobile, ATV, whatever. Do your own work as much as you can. And with YouTube out there now, my goodness, you can learn just about anything. So that's the way I see it. Anyway, speaking about YouTube for a second, I was watching a video the other day about YouTube and their advertising strategy, and how people were really feeling a bit ripped off because they'd subscribed to Prime or whatever it is, I don't know. And they were still seeing ads occasionally and things like that. So I have the solution for you. If you don't like watching ads, watch my videos and subscribe. Now, to my knowledge, I have watched a couple of my older videos, and there have been some ads in there. I'm not sure. Trust me, I'm not getting any ad revenue. But if you want to watch content that's, for the most part, ad-free, watch YouTubers with under 1,000 subscribers. Be one of those people that sticks with a channel when they've made it to 100,000 and then 1 million and so on subscribers. Be that person. So anyway, with that in mind, now that I've motivated you for the weekend, have an awesome weekend. And this is going to come out later today. And yeah, things are good. The weather's pretty nice here. Anyway, I'm going to go on before I start rambling. So yeah, remember to please like and subscribe, and share this video with others if you would like to. And even if you wouldn't like to, it'd be great anyway. So, okay, we will see you probably middle of next week with the weekly edition. And until then, have an awesome weekend and a great start to next week. Thank you for watching.